Natalie Pinkerton, and for our project we're comparing the dystopian novel by Margaret Atwood, The Handmaid's Tale, with a dystopian movie based off the book by Suzanne Collins, The Hunger Games.
Our project has 3 parts. The first part is the digital part, which you're watching right now. The second part is the art component.
And the third part is our building aspect.
Basically, any system of inequality is based on psychological oppression. You have convinced the people who are oppressed that they belong there, that they know their place, that they are not equal to the people who run the society. In the Hunger Games, there's nowhere to escape to. Like, they know there are other districts. They've never really seen them. Handmaid's Tale, you can escape to Canada, maybe. But at least there's a notion that there's an outside world that might be better than this. And The Handmaid's Tale, there's no escape because force is reinforced all the time. And so in that sense, The Handmaid's Tale is much more about oppressive power by force. And so you don't escape because you're afraid all the time. It relies upon a very old idea from Rome, that what you do for the masses is you give them bread and circuses. You give them sports and, TV. And that will keep them entertained, and they won't realize how oppressed they are. Right? The Hunger Games takes place in an arena that is totally artificial, but seems real. So it's again like a sort of metaphor of the maze, that even the Hunger Games themselves, when they're fighting them, take place in this arena that is like, artificially seems like the real world. And therefore, they don't think about rebelling, they feel unworthy, they're not smart enough, or quite simply, they don't have the guns. They don't have enough literal power to fight. Hunger Games has a more complex psychology. There is this illusion that there's freedom in the lottery system in which you have the Hunger Games, right? Which of course is never true because everyone dies except one person. But there's an illusion, right? And so,
It happened with the Roman gladiators, where people watched others fight against each other for their amusement. So I think it could possibly happen. And then it could also happen because of overpopulation. That's a big problem right now. And people killing each other for other people's amusement is would also be a good way to decrease the population if you did it every year. So yeah, it could possibly happen.
What do you think is preventing it today from happening?
Our government, I think, is preventing that from happening because there's certain laws in place, obviously, and there's kind of an order that's going on where it's preventing it from happening, but otherwise, yeah, that's it. It could happen, I don't know.
What problems in the Hunger Games or Gilead are present today?
I would say the division between social classes still exists, or exists as well as in those 2 books. In the Hunger Games, the richer you were, the more of a luxurious lifestyle you led, and the easier it was to escape the situation that children were forced into at the Hunger Games. Whereas if you were poor, you were forced into a lottery and didn't have any choice on whether or not you would be basically killed. And in Gilead, kind of the same deal. The richer and more political status you had, the more choice you had in how you were going to live your life. Whereas if you came from a lower status, you didn't have nearly as many choices in how you lived.
Okay. So what is another problem in Gilead that is present in the world today?
So much like in Gilead and in the Hunger Games, mass genocides still occur. Today, people are being killed by the hundreds of thousands in Syria and in Africa. In Syria, the government is bombing their own people in an attempt to get rid of ISIS, but they're not so much concerned with collateral damage.
So I don't think that the Hunger Games could ever happen in real life. Right now, with all like the school shootings and all of this, like this horrible news about children dying, I don't think there'd be any way of us possibly sending our children in electively to die. And I think that's a major theme right now all across America. Raising awareness for that, and so this dystopian novel isn't really realistic and applicable to our society.
We would like to thank Dr. Dinerstein, Ms. Aiken, Isabella Dalton, and Claire Morrow for allowing us to interview them. We hope you enjoyed watching our presentation. Thank you.